Yes. So the idea for this particular session is for all of you to understand what D3 is. Since most of you are new to both economics and the sessions that we have, you should understand the philosophy behind D3. Now, the first philosophy behind D3 is to wake you up, the discipline part of your life. That if you have to prepare for a competitive exam, and most competitive exams require some amount of discipline. When it comes to UPSC, I don't think इस ज़्यादा discipline किसी भी exam में चाहिए होगा. The discipline can be of different forms. So if you're preparing for armed forces, the discipline is of a different kind. But if you're preparing for, say, civil services, the discipline is of different kind. But you need to have discipline. And discipline, the most important facet of discipline is to be disciplined on in terms of waking up and your sleeping side, because that shows your seriousness. If someone is able to wake up on time and then start your day early, when your mind is fresh, that shows that you are disciplined regarding your academics. And it will take you very far. These are small things people don't tell you. There's no coaching that I know in the world which will tell you that how much discipline is able to contribute to your success. So discipline is what we try to inculcate in you by having these sessions at 5:15. Then the second aspect of D3 is deep focus. Now, we all are living in digital worlds. I have 20 kinds of different things to do, and everyone is trying to grab a piece of my attention. Now, see how algorithms are built in the world. Algorithms are built. Why TikTok is such a algorithm which can change psychology. And even for that matter, Instagram or any of these apps. So these are behavioral algorithms. They are continuously monitoring you to see that how much more time I can take out from you, and you have only so many hours of focus that is available with you. So my advice to all of you, since this is a new year that you are starting in your life, in terms of your competitive exam, and since the results came out yesterday, so you have almost an year to go with respect to when your journey will start with respect to mains. So I would say that do not have any apps on your mobile which you think that are going to drain any kind of energy. For example, typically I say to be staying off WhatsApp. Maybe you can be on WhatsApp from your parents phone for our communication, but a typical aspirant is usually on Telegram. WhatsApp can be addictive, but more addictive versions are the video versions. So basically anything with respect to social media, Facebook, Instagram, any kind of dating apps. These are all things which are going to take away a lot of your time. So I would advise not to have them on your phone. And for another portion of deep focus, you need to know how to meditate and how to be still. This is something that is very important for your mental growth, because your mind will be very volatile over the next 1 year. This is a mind game. This exam is a mind game. It's not tough, but it's a very strong. You need a very strong mind game to crack it. So you need to have a very calm mind, and calm mind comes from a lot of help comes from meditation. So if you can meditate for 5-10 minutes, that is great. And whenever you feel that no, things are not going right, just take a deep breath and just meditate for 5 minutes, and then you'll calm yourself down. And that would also help you if you are in a situation where you are angry with someone. And all of us are living in a society where we get to we get into mess with people, and our entire day goes into just that thought of what we had said and what the other person had said. Instead of going into that loop, the best way to go about it is just to have a deep breath for 5 minutes. Just not focus on anything else, and calm yourself down. So deep focus is the second pillar of this entire exercise. And you for deep focus, how many hours, people study for say 10 hours, but their effective hours is only 6 hours. So that shows lack of deep focus. So you need to work on your discipline, your deep focus, and then detoxifying yourself from all these digital media, as I told you. So it's a combination of these three things which will help you fare well in any competitive exam. In fact, it will help you fare to become, to become a better person. I'm not saying that I'm not on Instagram. I mean, I am there, but then I have to limit myself. You decide what your feed is. Your Instagram feed, your Facebook feed is a feed into your personality. The moment I see your feed, I know what kind of person you are. So if you see my feed is filled with people with recommendations of gym, recommendations of protein, recommendations of exercises. So I have all these influencers who are in the fitness industry, who are on my this thing. Then since I've been I'm renovating, I've bought a new house and I'm renovating it. That's the other aspect of my entire Instagram. So you can tell. And then motivational quotes, I get a lot of motivational quotes in my Instagram. So you can also curate, but at the same point of time, I have that leverage, I have that time. You as an aspirant do not have it. So whatever is needed, on from that point. And the third thing, which is the most popular thing that comes on my feed, is tech. Especially when it comes to LinkedIn, I'm always subscribed to anything that is happening in tech. So this is my feed, and I would like you to, just in case if you are on any of these media, so at least you can change the nature of your algorithm on your social media. Now let's come to the order of the day, how we run our sessions. We start our session with a 5-minute meditation, followed up by a journal. Now most of you will get okay, I will also, for people with econ and offline students, we are going to send you registers. We are going to send a Google form. Please highlight your address there, your full address, your name, your phone number, and which mode are you going to attend, hybrid or only online, so that we can send it to you as soon as possible, and the fee payment, whether that has been done or not. But irrespective, we are going to send it to everyone, but we just want that database to be there with us, because I think we have left with only 3-4 more registers in the offline mode, and in the online again we need to print another few registers. So that compendium is very important for your optional. And for your D3, there's another this thing, a daily journal that we have created. So we'll be circulating those in your sessions as well, where you these are dated journals. What you need to do is you need to write your whatever you're planning to do in your entire day. So if you're planning to do 3-4 things, for example polity, if you're or say you're doing micro, so what exactly topic are you doing from micro, and which resource that you're using. Then if you're planning to do newspaper, then how many hours of newspaper. If you're planning to do GS, say geography, what exactly in GS. So initially what will happen is you will try to aim too high, and you will not be able to reach that goal. And that means that in the subsequent day, instead of getting disappointed, you should have a realization that, oh, this is not working for me. Maybe I need to reduce the amount that I planned for. And then after that, you need to write whatever is going wrong in your life. So anything that has disturbed you, things that are frustrating you, you can write that there, and then end with a positive affirmation, where you write things that have been good in your life. So this is how we plan our journal, which you can complete in 2-3 minutes, and then next day you can review what you have written. Then finally we start the current affairs of the day. Now I've already sent you the Google Classroom link, as well as I've sent you the WhatsApp group. Now in the classroom you will find, if you go through the classroom, and I would advise you go through them using an iPad or a laptop. And especially if you are part of my classes, I would urge you to have a laptop with you. I'm extremely tech oriented, and I would like you to be very tech oriented in your prep. So mobile cannot replace a proper laptop. So this is something that you should invest. If you want to ask me what kind of laptop, what configuration, maybe you can ask me on the WhatsApp or on the group. I can give you the configurations depending on your budget as well. So but this is something that you should have, and think of it as a capital investment in your own prep. And don't be cheap when it comes to if you have a budget of say 40,000, So try to extend it to 50,000, because that is an investment into your prep, and that is a capital expenditure that you're doing that is going to help you in your entire prep. So don't be, we can compromise on the device, but we should not compromise on the processing power of the device. That is very important for us. Then so you have newspapers, where I've uploaded the newspapers of every day. Then you have ethics as well. There's a section of ethics, like today I'll deal with one ethical topic. Then economist magazines are also put there. And then morning motivations, where at times the motivators that I keep following on LinkedIn or other places, I keep posting whenever I come across something very exciting. So this is the idea behind Google Classroom. All our communication will be through Google Classroom, WhatsApp. If you want to circulate something which is useful with respect to this, maybe you can. But apart from that, don't mix up the two things. Nothing with respect to econ, but everything with respect to D3 diets. I'm more than happy. So let me come to the last part of what D3 is. The last part of D3 basically is also about your own. This is about your mental health and your academic health, but your emotional health and your physical health is also very important. And this is absolutely underrated when it comes to any competitive exam. If you are mentally, if you are physically or emotionally not there, irrespective of how talented you are, you're not going to get through this particular exam or any particular competitive exam until unless you are extremely lucky. So I keep telling everyone, no matter how what you are facing in your life, there will be many ups, there will be many downs. For example, in this particular session, I know a couple of students who are extremely bright. The moment that they clear prelims, they will get into the civil services with a top rank. So there are going to be ups and downs. I have students who have cleared the UPSC exam last year, and last year they could not clear prelims. So you can see the elation that you have, that you got into IRS and then not clearing prelims. So you will have these ups and downs in life, but what should remain constant is your emotional senses, that you are not swayed by your emotions. You're someone who's consistency will overpower excellence or smartness or whatever you have every time. So therefore, one thing in which I would like you to excel is your physical health, whereby you can go for 40 minutes in a day, go for a physical exercise. That can be running, that can be gymming. For me, it's hardcore traditional weightlifting. For someone else, it could be, say, cycling, swimming, and anything, any kind of sport. But 40 minutes, I want you to sweat, I want you to perspire, and that will recharge you in different ways. And the earlier the better. If you do it in the early part of the day, that will be even better than latter part of the day. So and you will have a better sleep as well. So this is one thing. The other thing is diets. Make sure your diets are extremely well curated. In fact, if you want to build a good physique, or if you want to tone down, if you want to be in the best shape of your life, it is 80% made in kitchen and only 20% made in extracurriculars. So make sure the 2-3 things that you can easily avoid. Anything that is white, be it white sugar, especially added sugar. Have zero added sugar in your entire diet. Then the other thing is focusing on your gut health, and more of fiber, more of protein, more of fats, and less of carbs. And have that. Maybe I can send you a sample of my diet. I maintain a proper Excel sheet in which I know the amount of calories that I'm going to give my body, and I also know by what time I'm going to get what result. So for example, I knew that in a couple of months I will come from 18% body fat to 11% body fat. Right now I'm at 11%. Next 3 to 4 months, I know I'll be reaching around 6% body fat. So 6%, 7% is the highest level of sportsmanship. Virat Kohli is at that level. So, and because you were able to track your metrics of the body, and you have no idea how much encouragement it gives me as a person when I know that what I am doing is transforming me physically as well. It will transform you emotionally as well. It will make you much more confident. So therefore, think of it as a holistic program. This is not just a pure academic newspaper reading program. So that can be done anywhere. I will show you today. GPTs are much smarter than any of these coaching institutes. It's much smarter than what I am. But this is something, this is the human touch that we can bring in to change certain things in you and make you a better aspirant. That's my goal. To whatever you are aspiring for, you should be a better human. You should be a better candidate in terms of emotion and physicals and academics. So with this we will start our session. So today we will not go for meditation and journaling. Today we'll directly go for our newspapers again, because at 6:15 I have to put a hard stop. So that is the time when my son wakes up, and people who are in the class from earlier times knows my son doesn't like me to teach at all when I'm at home. So he'll at 6:15 he'll be in my lap and taking the lecture along with me. So 6:15 is a hard stop for me. Now let's go to our daily newspaper. Today's newspaper, you can find it on the this thing as well, on the Google Classroom. Let me just share my screen now. Yesterday was a very important day, folks. Why it was important was the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and the Suraksha Sanhita, and the Evidence Act. All three, the new versions came into being, and that's why in the early part of the newspaper you will have a lot of articles with respect to this, but I will also deal with couple of articles. Now if you want to read certain articles, which I'm not going to cover, by the way, but I will still tell you which ones you can read. So French parties rush to build anti-far right front. So we have already talked about French elections. There are three kinds of players there. Why French elections are extremely important from the point of view of Europe, but also from the point of view of Russia-Ukraine war and the overall scenario that is going in the world. Then apart from that, China deploys aircraft carrier of Philippines amid clash with SES. Maybe this is something that you should read. Then maybe you can read the opposition address, but what is more important is on FIRs, hearing accused BNSS sections fly in the face of SC rulings. Then maximum custody still 15 days, but can be spread over 2 months. Sharp. So new criminal, we already know under the new criminal procedure act, the BNSS. Earlier the maximum custody, that the police custody was 15 days. Now it can be extended to even 90 days. So that is it says 60 days, but I think it can also take up into 90 days. So you have provisions of UAPA that has been incorporated in the CRPC itself. So then apart from that, this is something that we are going to cover in the ethics version as well. Then cheetal stock dwindling in Kuno, plan to move excess cheetahs. Then this is something that we can read. Then let's come to the couple of more articles that were there. Maybe first FIR, you can read this just in case if you want to read, but I am more interested in digitalizing the power, the decentralization of power, centering the panchayats. So maybe a theme on this you can read into, but let's go to our major section. Yes, editorial. Now the first thing in editorial is the case of RBI. Let's understand with RBI's case. Now since most of you are from econ background, there is data, especially when I take Indian economy, it will be extremely data oriented, and data will help you write your answers, substantiate your answers, and that data will also help you in your GS. So whatever these things are coming, for example, the fiscal stability report, the financial stability report has come up. So you should have a brief idea about the financial stability report. So I would ask someone from the group to download, maybe Dia, you can download the financial stability report and just put it on on our in the classroom as well as in the this thing. And I will help you how to use GPTs to summarize it, but at the same point of time at least read the executive summary of it. So whatever new report is coming is going to be important for you to understand the state of the economy. So so for example, in this particular case, what is happening is the latest financial stability report has come up, which shows that this that the Indian financial sector is quite stable now, and the fact that it's stable because of the fact that their profitability is up, their NPS. So these are metrics when you are seeing the, when someone says how the health of the of a particular bank, of our banking system, how would you assess the health? The health of a banking system can be seen from the amount of NPS that you have, non-performing assets. I mean, how much delinquent people are with you, then profitability, the asset quality that is there, which is NPA, then also amount of the capital that you have, which we'll later call as the CAR ratio, capital adequacy ratio. Now, if you've not heard of these terms, we will discuss all of these terms during money and banking as well, and also during Indian economy. But these are statistics that you know. And when I'm going to train you for mains, just before the exam, or the entire data set needs to be updated. So I'll give you a compendium of graphs, an Excel sheet of or a report of the Indian economy, which will be very updated to the date, and you will use that before your exam. So and it will be very data driven. I have data sources. I have huge Excel files of data from different sources. For example, CPI source, or the NSO source. So I will give you that data orientation. For banking, we'll have RBI data with us. So what it shows is that the non-performing asset is on a 12-year low of 2.8%, and it's the declines have observed in all the kind of banking sector, and that's why you see the Nifty Bank Index. Now you should also understand from a prelims point of view, that what is this Nifty Bank Index. So all the banks together have created which are there on Nifty, have an index which is called as Nifty Bank Index. Is also up, which shows that the banking sector is doing well. Then and why, how the NPAs have gone down? It's a combination of two things: the fall in bad loans, fresh bad loans, but also write-offs. So if you write off a loan, it's no longer a liability for you. So that also increases this thing. Then your net interest income, just a second folks. So net interest income also shows you the margin that you have. And in all these situations, even the full severe stress scenario, or capital position will be way above the minimum that is required. And for that minimum, you should also note what are Basel norms. So what are Basel 3 norms, and what are the norms that India's RBI has set over and above the Basel norms. So these are all metrics on which we have done well, but there are also concerns that we should note, that even as the retail loans have improved, bad loans have fallen down in retail loans, but still in private banks, the retail loans accounted for 40% of the addition to bad loans, and in consumer credit, personal loans below 50,000, the delinquency rates are quite high. So this sector needs a revision. So this is how you argue like an economist. And when you're writing answers in either in paper 3 or in your Indian economy, or even in paper number 1, you should answer like an economist. You should not answer like a GS, a normal individual. A normal individual can also write क्या है, बैंकिंग सेक्टर बहुत अच्छा है, स्टॉक बहुत अच्छा कर रहा है, हमारा NPA कम है. But this is not how an economist should talk. And that's why I ask you to read an economics paper as well. If you want to read it, maybe read the business standard. So you should be able to argue like an economist. Then apart from that, then there's another article which is Bengal's kangaroo courts. Now this is where the ethical concern comes, and where is that ethical concern? Now the issue here is that of kangaroo courts. Now it is also the issue of an ethical issue of vigilante justice. Now, I'll be providing you some write up for vigilante justice as well. Whether vigilante justice, like what Batman does, if you're a fan of Batman, so or say what any particular Robin Hood does. So would is that ethical or not? What are the ethical concerns with respect to that? And these are examples that you can use for your essay, and you can use in your ethics as well. Now, what has happened in northern west, or in West Bengal's north Dinajpur district, is that the entire community has come around, and they have elected a vigilante, a sort of a political leader, Tajimul Islam, who's also called JCB, and he's meting out in front of the entire village. He's meting out caning all of a couple which is having extramarital affairs. Now, whether that is extramarital affairs, whether it's ethical, illegal, is something for the state to decide, for the judiciary to decide, if they can be tried under the act of IPC, of under adultery. But at the same point of time, a vigilante, or the community meting out punishment, corporal punishment, is something which is extremely wrong, in ethical terms. So this is and vigilante justice is not one of thing. Similar to this is basically your mob lynching. Mob lynching is also, the mob is deciding about something. So what are the ethical concerns with respect to mob lynching? So and usually these vigilantes, or these mobs, the perpetrators and the leaders of that mob do have political protection, as well as they have a political patronage. They are trying to enforce the rule of the state, or the leadership in some ways, and that shows erosion of rule of law in the particular society. And unfortunately, there are too many instances which are coming out of West Bengal these days with respect to the erosion of rule of law, and where police and the administration, more or less, is powerless and do the cleanup services. So this is something which is extremely concerning, and this shows the roots of politics as well, and the roots of dissent as well. That is how you muzzle dissent, by vigilante justice, as well as by mob, rule of the mob. So you can use these examples, which are extremely good, for your answer writing, and you can use them in your rule of law, which is in your paper 2, governance issues, corruption. Then case studies of vigilante justice can be used, and then comes the ethical concerns with respect to vigilante justice, which I'll provide you a write up. Whether there is rule of law, so there's no rule of law in vigilante justice. Due process is nowhere there in any kind of this process. Usually all vigilante justice ends up in violence and violation of human rights. There is no accountability of the vigilante here. There is no accountability. Who is he accountable to? So that is again, you have no accountability, and there is impartiality. You are usually targeting people who are from the opposite sides of the political spectrum, or opposite side of the religion or the caste. Then the social order and stability also goes for a toss, and there is no equality before law here. So on all these concerns, vigilante justice is does not stand hold, and there are ethical approaches for this. I mean, strengthening the legal system, so people, if the legal system is extremely strong and extremely swift, there is no need for this kind of justice, and they know that you will be arrested and put behind bars for any kind of vigilantism. Then community engagement is also extremely important, where the community should know what are the rights, what are and they should have a collective and collaborative approach towards justice. Then accountability mechanism needs to be there, education and awareness, and you need legal reforms. So all of these are there when it comes to when it comes to your this thing. And the reason that I was asking you to use GPTs, let's see. Now, there are two ways. This is something that I've been talking to you a lot on, that GPTs are going to help you, but they're only going to help you only to a certain extent. Now, if you see, what I had done was I had posted the article of this. I had read the article. Reading the article, you cannot say that I will not read the article. You can take the summary and then read the article. I do the opposite. I first read the article and then I see the summary, because that way my mind is not polluted, and anyways I read very fast, and the moment that you start reading, in a few days your reading speed will increase. And then it is also giving me the kind of questions, the kind of topics that it can be asked into, or I can relate it to. So GS paper 2, case studies, prelims, interview, all of that analysis is also coming. With time, when we'll expand our team, we'll also give you handouts of this, that once you come to the session, or there will be a handout session, that there will be handout window where you can just take the handout and also get it printed. Then you have ethics related to vigilante justice. Now this is where it gets innovative. You get all the views here. Similarly, you can also type in ethics related to, say, mob lynching. So I had read the issue, then I had read this entire document, and then I knew what areas to touch and what areas not to touch. So in this way you can, and it can also ask you certain other questions. So if you want to give a follow-up question, you can give GPT that follow-up question as well. So this is how you use GPTs for your entire prep. It is going to be extremely useful for at least your GS prep, and to a lot of extent to your your prep of economics as well. Then let's move to the other article. This article is also very similar to what we have been discussing. Now comes the writer and the tree of tongues. Now this is a kind of article that if you have not read this article, the whole article, you would have lost the entire purpose of the article, because GPTs, although they do summarize the facts, but still the philosophy of writing is something that it will miss out on. Now this article talks about the prosecution of Arundhati Roy under UAPA. I suppose she's been booked under UAPA after 14 years of what she had done, and that too a free speech incident. Now this article basically in the first part talks about how the author relates to her, and she makes a satirical comment as well, that what Arundhati Roy wanted to do is, wherever she wanted to go, she wanted to go without money, and she wanted people to buy her lunch and host lunch. But she's now commenting, wherever you go in the world, let there be plenty of readers to host you at lunch and not governments to book you. So the Delhi LG VK Saxena has recently granted prosecution under UAPA for speech made by her in 2010. This is something which is and the last part of the article is extremely important, because see, what happens is that in any kind of government, the first thing that they are wary of is, or what is being alleged in this particular article is that you are worried about human activists, NGO workers, and that's why you see the cutting of foreign funding of a lot of NGOs in India as well. So and a lot of these think tanks have now closed. Then apart from that, academics are the other decent set of people. So one is your human right activists, NGOs, and the other is your academicians. For example, there's a senior of mine who was teaching in Ashoka, and he wrote a paper on India backsliding on number of issues, and then he was prosecuted. Now he shifted to Gokhale University. So Gokhale in Pune. So Sabyasachi, if you can just read about him. Sabyasachi was 1 year senior to me in college. So and I met him recently. He was also there at Labasna last year for taking certain sessions. So again, so you target a lot of academics, and the third thing is that which is being talked about is writers. Again, people with free will. So with creative free will. So this is where you see that if these are targeted, that means a government is probably becoming more authoritarian, because these possess the free ideas. The spread of free idea comes from these people, and therefore the governments would want to curtail them, and that's how history, what history tells us as well. But what is very important is this last section. Now someone if you're writing if you're writing an article, if you're writing an essay, if you're using context like this, and just copying this context, if I was you, I would copy this entire sentence in a particular register, and that would be my quotes register and my anecdotes register, and I would write this and I would use it wherever I can, be it a essay, be it a ethics kind of a thing where it fits. So I'll read this part to you. Our freedom struggle, partition, and emergency have proven this true with respect to our the human justice and rights, and the role of literature in the collective trauma of the society. So literature is extremely important. Literature tells you, and this is something that you should also note in your paper number 1, because you're going to study literature. Literature also tells you about the what is happening in that part of the society, in that part of community. So literature is a reflection into society. You should understand this. Don't just try to mug up stuff. Try to understand the literature from why is it written, what kind of issues does it address. So literature has changed, and literature has shown our freedom struggle, our partition, emergency time. On one of the literature points during during the emergency was the Tree of Tongues by K. Sachinanand. Now which encapsulate that goddess who rules the land chopped off the tongue tree, but instead of withering, from the blood of the tree sprouted 1,000 leaves, all tongues putting forth the truth the goddess wanted to hide, and which is basically a cast on Indira Gandhi here. So the tree of tongues spread out far and wide even during emergency. It should not wither now. So this is the kind of answer or end to a particular this thing that you can give. And the moment that I see this end, you've moved from a 110 in your essay or 150 in your essay to 140. In a 70 mark or in a 100 mark essay, you have 125 mark essay, sorry, in a 125 mark essay, you have clearly moved from, say, if you were getting 60 marks, 65 marks, now you move to 80, or say a 75 mark, and that will lead to that increase from 60 to 75 is a huge jump that you're going to get. So this is something that you should adapt while writing. Then the next article is with respect to or yes, this drawing borders in the air. Now what we have seen is, now since we have started posting two regimes of our 4.5 generation aircrafts. Now you should also note what is the kind of aircraft inventory that we have. We have the MiGs from the previous era. So we have mainstay is basically Sukhoi 30s Russian, MiGs again Russian, M200 is French, and then you have Rafale aircraft that we have recently bought. All these are fourth generation aircrafts. 4.5 generation is Rafale. But what China is doing is, China is putting up its fifth generation stealth aircraft J-20 Mighty Dragon on the tarmac of its airbase in Tibet. And what this shows is a build up of their entire command, both military command, their infrastructure, and their air force in proximity of India. Since we have much more advanced airfields, therefore they're threatened, and they're putting up their resources. Now the article basically talks about the fact that we need to understand the Chinese presence in Tibet, and we need to understand that we have our aging. We have only two squadrons of 4.5 generation Rafales with us. We need to have fifth generation aircraft soon, because by the time our own indigenous, in the next 5-7 years, our fourth generation will be outdated, and by the time we are coming up with our own indigenous aircraft Tejas, China will move to the sixth generation aircraft. So we need to resolve this asymmetric this thing warfare abilities that we have. And in any case, it's very asymmetric when it comes to infrastructure. They have a very built up good infrastructure in their border areas. We have not done that. So this is very important. And the most important thing from point of view of right now is that we need these 115 fifth generation this thing advanced medium combat aircraft. We need this fifth generation multi role aircrafts. We needed around 150 120 of these, but it's a long pending order that we have, but needs to be done immediately for our security requirements. And then we need to, with time, we also need to focus on indigenization of these entire equipment, and maybe in some point of time export of these equipments as well. So this is something that the article that you should know, which is extremely important from India China relationship, defense, geopolitical this thing as well. So you should read what, and then also from a science and tech point of view, what are fourth generation aircraft, what are 4.5 generation aircraft, what are fifth generation aircraft, sixth generation aircraft, what are the technologies that are used, what are the materials that we use for stealth. So all of this is your kind of homework when you're reading something like this. Then the next article is with respect to the magic box. NCRT has recently started a play-based learning. Now, if you see the NEP has also transformed the higher education, but even at the lower education system, you have this foundational batch, which is basically covering 3 to 8 years. So, foundational stage, national curriculum framework, foundation stage for 3 years to 8 years, and this is the time of life where kids like my son learns from playing. So the more you introduce play, the more you introduce joy to them, they will be able to learn more from it. So what and this is a very good example that you can use in your ethics and your essay, how you are transforming education through play. This is also important from your GS point of view. If you see your ethics paper, even in your ethics paper, you have points of holistic development and role of parents and educators. So this is a very important step, and we have also started introducing International Day of Play on 11th June. So what has been done is that there is a Jadui Pitara that was launched, and few children were invited on the stage to unveil it, and as they look through the books and flashcards, they spotted toys, and the kind of joy that you get on a face of a child when he or she sees a toys is extremely beautiful. So all of that, that natural flow that of emotion comes, and then children through play can have a holistic development, their socio emotional development, language development, cultural development, the different kinds of toys that you can give a particular child. So all of this is extremely important, and that is what the goal of the national education policy is also. Now they've also started online, I think they've started Pitara, Jadui Pitara as well. It's written somewhere, I think. This thing, impact of Jadui Pitara, they've used it through computers, smart features, televisions. Caregivers are also doing this. So this is how this helps students, is that it helps in the development of the prefrontal cortex, something that you might learn in biology if you're reading biology for your GS. And then also neuroplasticity. This is something that I keep telling you. The more you challenge your brain, the more it will grow. And an intuitive problem solving and decision making. All of this is extremely important for a particular child. And maybe you can end with a quote, jump bachpan manao, birthday jao. But whenever you are writing something in Hindi, make sure that you have the English translation ready in your answers. So don't write Hindi quotations without English translations. Then we've already read about this issue, Foxconn's job bar on married women and the ethical issues respect to that. Now National Human Rights Commission has seeked a report. If you don't know about National Human Rights Commission, just type into the GPT, or there is only one page document, one page chapter in your Lakshmikant. You can cover that. In fact, when I will take your prelims sessions next year from January, I will the first session that I will have for 6-7 hours, I will only take these 12-13 chapters which are there on these constitutional and non-constitutional bodies. Then coming to explained. Now, if you want to read why TIS dismissed 100 employees and why the decision was reversed. You can read that. What is more important from my point of view is with respect to floods and urbanization, because this is a major issue that is concerning with respect to disaster management. It comes under urbanization, and in paper number 1 it is also under disaster management, and ethical urban planning is also something that can be seen from this. Now when it comes to this particular topic, if you see, what has happened is that the and this is something that I got to know today itself, that Delhi will become the world's largest city by 2030, holding around 4 million, 39 million, or 40 million people. Now that's a huge number, folks, as compared to, if you see, the population of entire New Zealand is 4 million people, and imagine the population of Delhi is 10 times that of a country. Gives you kind of perspectives. And what has happened is that the geographical size of Delhi has increased by more than double between 1991 to 2011. Now it would have doubled, I would say, between 2011 and 2024. So the urban sprawl of Delhi has been expanding through satellite cities, and it has become a conurbation of sorts. Now there is a word called conurbation that you will understand in geography. Maybe you can Google it up, what conurbation is. Now but the heart of the issue is that the sanitation and the flooding and the storm waters and the water planning has not been done simultaneously while Delhi has been expanding. So you do not have desilting of drains. You have all your storm water drains are filled with gutter waters, and you are mixing of gutter waters with normal waters as well. So this is leading to urban flooding, and the topography, the kind of this thing. So this is a line that you can directly pick up for any these such issue, that topography determines drainage package. And that's what history tells us. Even if you see historic cities like Tulakkabad, no, what is it called, uh, whatever that, Mehroli or Shahjahanabad. So these all these cities in Delhi are basically all you'll see all these cities, or these are parts of Delhi's, or parts of old Delhi as well. So even Siri Fort, for that matter, all these areas are built on a higher elevations, but the other areas are built on the other end. And what we see in the last few years is that we have also had heavy construction on the flood plains of Yamuna River. So, for example, ITO and the entire Commonwealth Games infrastructure was built here. Sarai Kala Khan, Pragati Maidan, all of that we have concretized this entire area, and the floodplains. And what happens is, during whenever there is high rainfall, there is no sufficient flow of water from here to Yamuna, and this entire area gets flooded. This entire area is flooded. So this is something that is needed, and we need a water master plan. There is no water master plan that we have done. So this article basically talks about that, how this is a human made disaster. And you have other examples like that of Bangalore, a very famous example, infamous date 26 July 2005, where 1000 people died in Mumbai because of the wettest 24 hours. It's also called as a cloud burst. Then Kochi, Shimla, all these areas where the water drainage is an issue, you will have these floodings. So read about this and the ancillary topics related to it. Then the next article that we need to see, and probably the last article of the day, is that of the face-off between Rahul Gandhi and Om Birla, where Rahul Gandhi has accused that his mic has been turned off, which is a violation of his breach of privileges. Now, what is important is for you to understand what are the breach of privileges, and there are privileges, powers, immunities which are given to members of House of Parliament, and also the legislature, state legislature under Article 105 and 194. This is something that you should note. And what constitutes a breach of privileges, and what are the procedures with respect to breach of privileges. So they are not codified. First of all, they are not codified. The rules are notified. There are no thus there are no clear notified rules to decide what constitutes breach of privilege and the punishment it attaches. So read about all of these, what is a breach of privilege and what can be done, what can the house do. So this is a topic for your polity. Then how world's first brain implant to control epileptic seizure. So what you should know what epilepsia is. And there is this transplant brain impulse transplant, deep brain stimulation that is being given to a patient, teenager patient in UK, and which can help resolve the irregular flow of current between one side of brain to the other side of brain, and how DBS helps. But what doctors also say is that surgery is a better option at a cheaper rate, and that is perhaps also why India is the tourism the medical tourism capital of the world. Then Russian imports surged to 13-month high. Saudi volumes crashed to a decade low. GST collections 7.7% to 1.4 lakh crore rupees in June, slowest rate of growth in 3 years, but GST collection is extremely high as well. Then apart from that, manufacturing PMI, you should note what PMI is. Anything above 50 is basically expansion of the entire sector of the manufacturing in India, and this is reported a 19-year high to 58.3 in June. So and shows firms are hiring more. So read about this, and read about, there is also a PMI services data set which will come on the 3rd. So on the 4th of July we will read that particular news. On the 1st of the month you have the purchasing managers index which is released for manufacturing, and this is done by HSBC bank. Then the last is what is Project Nexus. So RBI has joined Project Nexus, a multilateral. This is, you should read in detail about this entire Project Nexus. Now, what this is this is a multilateral initiative that enable cross-border retail payments by interlinking fast payment systems. So so the UPI of India and the fast payment systems of Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand will be interlinked through Nexus. So think of it as a South Asian or Southeast Asian UPI of sorts. So this is a very very important news for your prelims folks, and even an example that you can use for your mains. So read about this particular article. So this is about it. Let me see if there is anything. Yeah, my favorite cricketer Surya Kumar Yadav. If you have time, maybe you can read it. And if you're a soccer fan, maybe what is happening in soccer. Now give me 1 minute folks, let me just come to our class. This is about our session folks for today. Now you can use another half an hour of your time, maybe not more than half an hour, for your newspapers. Quickly go through them. Whatever note making you have to do, you can do it through this thing, GPTs. Now in the coming days, once our batch stabilizes, maybe by the end of the week we will form you into different groups for you to have access to GPT as well, paid version of GPT. And then also with respect to your registers, we will distribute it today itself. Please fill up your Google forms for your addresses. So this is about it folks. I hope you enjoyed this session. This is something new that we are going to do together, and it's also going to help you throughout your journey in your prep. So thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow at 5:15. See you guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.